I very much appreciate the opportunity to be with you this evening. We're here at the end of the year already, believe it or not, and I know you're busy with all sorts of things uh, besides even work. So thanks for taking time out of your schedule. For those of you who get to watch this on the recorded version, then thanks for taking the time to do that also. Again, my name is Dallas Jones, and I am VP at Ecosense. And what I want to talk to you about tonight is a new product that we've had out for just about a year now. But I don't know that we've promoted it as well as I'd like to do to InterNACHI members, and that is the EcoQube Pro. It's an NRPP approved device for doing real estate testing. So without further ado, I'm going to get on into this. So the EcoQube Pro, if you're familiar with our consumer version of the EcoQube, what we did late last year is we changed the firmware and added some software to give it some additional ability where we could then submit it into the NRPP for device approval. It went through the device approval process, and it is now on the NRPP approved device list. And it starts and stops with a mobile app. You have a dashboard that you can track all of your test data. And we actually lease these units, and I'll tell you more about that as we go through the slide presentation. We lease these units in either a 4-pack, which is typically what we lease to home inspectors like you. We also have a 45 unit case, and we can lease those long-term, or we can lease those for short-term projects. And I'll discuss that as we move forward as well. So one of the reasons why we came up with this program is there are certainly some states that have licensing requirements that make it difficult to jump through all the hoops and bureaucracy to get a license. And your home inspectors, and this is an ancillary. So in states, particularly like Illinois and New York and New Jersey and Florida, then it's difficult to become a measurement specialist, for example, or get your business license. And so we designed this in a way where you can operate as a measurement technician, and we would serve as your approved laboratory or approved measurement business. We are an NRPP approved laboratory. We're also approved by the New York Environmental Laboratory Accreditation Program. So what this does is it gives you the ability to operate as a technician under our license. Right now, I think we have the most users of the EcoQube Pro in New Jersey. I think we have over 25 different home inspectors who are leasing units there. They affiliate with our organization like they would a charcoal lab. And then we, in the lease, we include the annual calibration of the devices, and we perform the data analysis. So what that means is the data, once it's retrieved into your mobile app, it gets uploaded to our server. We then scan that data using artificial intelligence, and it looks for certain parameters. If it sees something that is outside those parameters, then it will flag it where one of our technicians can look at it and just look at it more closely and see if something perhaps caused the unit to fail, or if there's some unusual data that needs some further explanation. Then we can flag it and contact you with that. Other than that, it just takes a very short less than a minute to go through the data scan, and then we post it over to your dashboard where you can finish up a report and send it out, and it meets the requirements for these licensing states, as well as the NRPP being a standard service provider rather than an analytical service provider that you would have to be if you're using a typical CRM. We call this a blind CRM. That's how it's classified with the NRPP, meaning you're blind to the data until we analyze it and then post it. But that happens so quickly, you hardly notice. So the results are going to be ready for you within minutes of terminating the test. The mobile app is real easy to use and simple, intuitive. We have an admin dashboard that will let you do both single tests like you would for single family residences, or if you're doing a larger project like a school or a multifamily building, then we have a project section where you can create projects and all your tests can be under that project. We will track your duplicate tests. We have state-approved QA plans and standard operating procedure, and then we will submit the state-required activity reports on your behalf, so we save you all of that as well. So the sensor in this little device is the same as in our Radon Eye Pro. It's probably the most, not probably, it is the most sensitive detector you can find for professional monitor. For less than, say, $3,000. I think there's one, if you spend that, is almost as good as this, but it's a lot of money for just one unit. And we're trying to make our products with a superior sensitivity, but also at a very affordable price where it can work easily into your business plan. If you are in one of those situations where you're using charcoal instead of a continuous monitor, then this is certainly going to save you from having to mail devices to the lab. The mobile app makes it easy to deploy. You don't have paperwork. Everything goes into the system. Each device has a QR code on the side. Now, it'll connect to the devices via Bluetooth. But if you have more than one in proximity, then you can just scan the code on the side, and it will connect to that specific device. The dashboard, as I mentioned, will enable you to manage projects as well as each of your devices and all of your reports, and the testers that work with you as well, particularly if you're in a multi-inspector firm. We have I think our largest inspection firm that's using this device has, I think, 6 or 7 different inspectors, and they keep about 50 some odd devices busy all the time. So we're set up for a large scale operation as well. You can set this up for a 48-hour, a 72-hour, or a 96-hour test. Now, the longest test period would be 96 hours. Unlike our consumer version of the EcoQube, this device uses the onboard memory, so it doesn't have to be connected to Wi-Fi. You can if you have it available, but typically you would just skip right past that prompt when you're deploying it. If you set it for 96 hours and you can't be there at that time to pick it up, it will just stop. Same with 72 or 48. If you set it for, say, 72 hours and you get there at 48 hours, you can stop it with your mobile app so you're not locked into that time period. But it saves you from having to worry about being there at a specific time, and it gives you some flexibility with pickups. We will assist you with your duplicate test, quality assurance reports, and so forth. So the decision making with a continuous monitor means that you can make a decision on a single deployment. You don't have to put 2 passive devices or do a one device and then go do a follow-up test like you would with charcoal or electrets. So you can get to the decision making right away. eliminates the need for confirmatory tests. You don't have to do blanks and spikes like you would with charcoal. You do have to do a duplicate or a comparison check every 10 locations, but no blanks or no spikes. We do those as part of our lab duties. And then we take care of the calibration. The way we do that is we're going to send you a notice electronically that says these serial numbers that are in your custody are due for calibration, and we are sending you replacements. And when you get those replacements, you will take them out of the box, and they will now be your devices to use, and you will put the ones that are due for calibration back in that box and send them back to us, and then we can recalibrate them where they can be used by another client. If you've ever picked up an EcoQube, they're the same. The hardware portion is the same. As I mentioned, the firmware is different, the software is different, but they're very light and easy to deploy. You can use command strips, and you can actually put them on an interior wall, not an exterior wall, but an interior wall, or you can put them on a tripod. You can pick up little clamps, but can show you what kind to put on a tripod, and it holds them very easily. So you have an option there. Now, I mentioned that you can do, let me get back up to here, large scale testing. So I'm going to go back. You'll see this big 45 unit case. Now, as a home inspector, you might go, well, when would I ever need that? I'll give you an example. We have a home inspector in Vermont who has now tested about a dozen, maybe 15 schools in Vermont. They have a requirement that schools be tested, or they can certainly get the funding for it. And he's been called on to test all these different schools. And so the way we work that is he puts together the number of schools he's going to test in a particular project, and we give him a quote on the devices. And we ship them to him, and he may need them for a month. He may need them for 2 weeks. It depends on, just how many schools he's going to do in that time period. We make it very affordable. The price would compete with a charcoal bag. And then he ships them back, and he's been very successful in picking up schools. I know he's got some more coming after the first of the year. We've got other clients who are testing schools as well. So if you get into a situation where you need to test a school or a multifamily building, then just let us know what your project consists of, and I can give you a quote for a short-term rental for those projects as well. So moving back over here, one of the things that if you use a continuous monitor already, the hourly data gives you the ability to distinguish what's happening throughout the course of the test with the variations and fluctuations that can occur with hourly radon concentrations. This was a particular test report where it was a homeowner test. It was done for a client that every evening the radon concentrations went up above 8 picocuries per liter, and stayed there during the night. And then every day after she went to work, the radon concentrations would go down and be around 2 or less. And so her average was just under 4 picocuries per liter, but she was able to make a decision that she wanted to have her home mitigated because she worked during the day, and she wasn't really concerned that the concentrations were low during the time that she was away. She was concerned about the fact that the concentrations were high during the hours she was at home in the evening. And I got a chance to talk to her. As it turns out, this test was done when she had the air handler running in the evening when she got home because it was cold. The heat was on. And then when she went to work, it went on setback, an economizer, and it didn't run much. And so during the day, the concentration would be low. During the evening, when that air handler kicked on, it was a forced air system, and it was actually sucking air into leaky return down on the lower level. And it was drawing a lot of radon in from the soil during the time it was operating. So it's certainly good to have this kind of data. And if you're using a conventional CRM, then you know that. So the test reports, you're going to be able to give a summary test if you're doing a project. If you're doing individual tests, then you'll get the ability to generate a complete report. It's several pages. You'll get all the information required for New Jersey or Illinois or Florida or New York or any state requirement. And it includes the graph of the hourly data, a printout of all the hourly data as well. You can import photos and you can put in comments. You can import other documents. For example, if you need to put in a drawing like you do in Illinois, or you need to put in the authorization or non-interference agreement that's been signed, you can add that into the report. It's going to include all the ANSI requirements for recommendations, depending on what the results were. It also includes all the ANSI statements for the various questions they have. And then I didn't put that into the slide presentation, but depending on the state you're in, there will also be a page that complies with the state requirements. For example, I'll use New Jersey again. There's a certain statement that has to be on every report, and it needs to be signed by the measurement specialist. So that will be a part of the report as well. And then we'll do all the reporting to the state on your behalf as that's required. So where I'm with this, and I didn't take a long time. I know you're busy, and I wanted to make sure that you know about this and you can participate in this. We have a special for you where you can lease a 4-pack of EcoQube Pros. It's an open-ended lease. There's a 6-month minimum obligation, but after that you can terminate with 30 days notice. The rate per unit is $30 per month. So you get a 4-pack. That would be $120 a month. There are no additional fees. There is a one-time account activation fee of $100, but because you're a member of InterNACHI, then we'll give you a $25 discount off that. There's also a $20 shipping fee that we waive for InterNACHI members as well. As I mentioned, the lease includes annual calibration replacement. The lease includes the data analysis that we do for you, and the state reporting, and any assistance with your quality assurance plan. I wanted to take the opportunity here as we close out the year to let you know about this, because as we move into 2025, we see this as a great opportunity for InterNACHI home inspectors to be able to have multiple monitors without having to buy them. If you look at a purchase, which we sell the Radon Eye Pro, and some of you may have that, and it's a great piece of equipment and does a great job, and you own it, but you also know that you have to send it off for calibration. And depending on your ability to have other units to fill in while they're out, then that can sometimes be inconvenient. So this just gives you another option. It also is an option for if you get larger projects and you would like to be able to bid on those, then we can make sure you get a really good price, for those projects, and can participate. And what we're finding is the clients for schools and multifamily buildings, those folks are happy to be able to get a turnaround with the test results right away. We'll help you with a summary report and manage that for you as well. That'll give all of the test data for that project in a summary format, including your quality assurance, your duplicate results, to show that you've got the adequate precision among your duplicate tests. So if you would like to take advantage of this, you can reach me. My phone number here is 678-983-9312, or you can reach me at djones at ecosense.io. So I know this was short, but I'd like to take a minute to see if you have any questions. The last time I did this, I had quite a number, and I wanted to give time for that without having this run too long on a Friday. So I'll look here and see if anyone has a question. Do you see any there, AJ?
So far, no questions, Dallas.
No questions. Well, let me see if I can ask you, what states do we have? I see, for example, uh, Joe Vitale. I think I recognize your name. Where are you located, Joe? Can I open your mic, or can you do that?
They're all in the chat. We got Pennsylvania, Arizona, Connecticut.
Pennsylvania. Okay, so yes, we are working with Pennsylvania now. I've got an application in there to be a business. If you're already licensed there, you can certainly use this already. If you're not, then I can help you as we go through that.
Well, on that note, guys, hope everyone has a really good weekend.
Likewise. Take care.
Good night, everybody.